Alright guys, for whoever's watching, or I'm not sure how many of you guys are watching, so yeah, still working on this fight scene, having some trouble getting this done. It's very extensive, so yeah, I figured I should do a live stream because that kind of helps with the productivity. Normally I do care about spoilers and all that stuff, but yeah, it's fine. I'm not even sure if it's that big of a spoiler, so it's fine. This is a lot slower than I thought. You gotta stretch. Always important to stretch. For anyone who need to get any, health tips. Alright, so let's see. Anybody in the chat? Oh, nobody. How many people watching? Oh, only one person. I always like when it's just one person. So it's kind of, I always find that interesting. I always just want to guess, like, who would that be? What if it's not even a subscriber? What if it's like, you know, somebody just randomly, wow. Sorry for anyone. Sorry for the one person watching this. You got to see this ass shot. I apologize about that. Not sure if you're too sensitive about this kind of things, so I apologize. What if it's like a little kid? It's like, I want to learn about animation. I show him like in a close-up of a 3D ass. Oh man, that's where my mind goes when it's late. I should start working in the morning. Maybe I'll go to bed early today and try to get my sleeping pattern back. So to whoever's watching right now, I can tell it's one guy or one woman. Let me know. I'm just gonna be asking you questions, and feel free to respond in the chat. Are you a animator or filmmaker person? Or are you just somebody who likes independent animation? Is your name Bill? Bill? Wouldn't that be amazing if I just guessed like your name? I remember once I was working at a couple years ago. I was working at Staples, the Office Depot-esque type, school supplies type store. Staples. I don't know if you're from America, but I'm just gonna, it's like a what do you call it? It's a corporation in America. Or I don't even know if you call it a corporation. It's a very popular supply store in the U.S. Anyways, I don't know if it's only in the U.S., so maybe I'm just an idiot, but I was working at Staples, and I wasn't working there that long, but I was doing cashier stuff, and I was still in training, and I was doing it across from somebody who'd worked there for a long time, and I was like still getting to know people and stuff like that, and now I'm trying to remember what the name was, but I was like joking around with this girl, and I said something about like, I think she was joking around about her mom or something like that, and I said like, it's like, use your mom's name. I forget what I said now. I said like Beth or something, or Mary, some like generic. She was white. It doesn't matter, but it kind of matters. But she was white, and I said like a generic white lady name, and I think it was Mary or something, and she's like, yeah, that is my mom's name actually, and I was like, wait, what? It was so random. It was exactly, I guessed on first try in a jokingly way, I guessed exactly her mom's name, and she was like, wait, how did you know that? I was like, no, I had no idea. That was just a random guess, and I felt like really happy with myself, but at the same time I felt kind of creepy because I'm like, wait, what if she thinks I actually knew what her mom's name was? So yeah, that was the time where I thought I might be Nostradamus. I thought I might be super have some kind of super prediction skills, or useless knowledge skills is what it really would be. I guess I always assume that whoever's watching can talk in the chat, but I guess maybe maybe you can't, or maybe where you are, or maybe you're just, you don't have a YouTube account where you can type in the chat. So, but if you can, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to, you know, answer any questions or talk about whatever you want to talk about. Since right now you're the only you're the only person in the audience. So if you have any questions about the show or about anything, let me know. If you want to know my deepest, darkest secrets, let me know. It's not like I would tell you that. I just mean let me know. Doesn't necessarily mean I will give you an answer. But, I'd like to hear from you. Although if you're shy, I understand. It's funny because I always thought that because a lot of people didn't really respond to a lot of or didn't engage a lot in the comment sections of certain episodes, or they didn't, if I didn't hear back from them online or something, I just assumed that they didn't like it, or it didn't engage them or something like that. Then I realized oh wait, no, it's just me. Some people are like me, because when I like a video, I don't always comment. I do comment sometimes with videos, but it's just such a funny thing where I'm like wait, I don't comment on things even though I like them. So maybe just most people are probably like me. So now when I see people in the comments, I go yeah, not everyone. It takes some kind of arrogance actually to comment on something. Not to talk in the chat, like this situation, but to or to criticize it. To say I like this video in chat isn't arrogant. I mean, I just mean to criticize or to do something like that. But most people on the internet do not comment and do not engage. So it is funny to see videos where people see a lot of stuff in the comments, and the creators think oh, everyone must think the way all these people commented, or it's no, only a small fraction of people in general have time even to comment. So you're looking at a consensus of only a couple types of people, really. And because most people aren't gonna respond or engage, or don't feel the need to, or don't want them, or don't have anything to say. So it's not right to assume that just because you hear from a bunch of people online doesn't mean that that's a consensus of anything. Okay, wait a second. Hang on a second, I apologize, I gotta check something. Alright, sorry, I just realized I just paused that on another ass shot, and I keep going with ass shots. Apologize for my one guy in there, or it could be a girl. Sorry. I think I've had this happen before, and I said the same thing then. I wonder if this is the same person that was on that one live stream. But I remember saying that I don't know if it's I keep saying a guy out of habit, but you never know if it's a guy or a girl. So I apologize for, my sexist assumption. Man, really not a lot of people not a lot of people getting this live stream. It's odd. Usually, maybe it's the times, I guess. I don't know. It's a Thursday night. At least for me, it's night. I cannot wait for this scene to be over with. Scene's been taking me, and granted, I've been slacking a little bit on this scene because I just wasn't feeling well. Not like I was sick, I was just feeling like shitty, like not motivated, even though I should, because this needs to be done soon because I need to send this to the guys at Anime North. But even still, it's just, I don't know, I'm very, despite what people think, I'm very, I can get very moody and not moody in like that kind of way, but I mean moody in a way of like sometimes I'll just feel like, yeah, I don't feel like doing this, like not a lazy thing, but more of like why am I even doing this kind of thing? And it sucks, and you know, everyone feels that way about everything, but you know, when you get paid to do something, you have to, you know, you have to work through that. But you know, I'm not get paid. I'm just rambling. I don't know. If for the one person watching right now, please ask me anything. I'm just gonna keep rambling, and then there'll be 0 people watching because you'll just be like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Ask me anything. I'm in need of some kind of topic because I will just keep rambling and I'll just drive you insane. I will, I guess I can talk about Iron Fist. How about that? I just started watching, in person chat, are you a fan of Marvel, of DC, of any of those comic book shows or comic book movies? Yes, no? Anything? Nah, nothing. Do you like movies? Do you like Star Wars? Do you like any kind of media? Nothing. All right, I'll just wait before I talk about Iron Fist because I don't want to. I think I want to spoil something. I don't want to spoil it. If you respond right now, I will give you $2. How about that? That's like just enough for me to be able to afford and be a good enough incentive. Alright, I guess that offer is gone now because I said right now, but still, I appreciate your patronage. Alright, I will, yeah, so Iron Fist. So, I'm just gonna rant about the show because I watched the first 2 episodes and I absolutely hated it. And I just, like, I can't even tell you. And there's parts about the show that I like. Like, it's funny because people online like, oh, it's just, critics are always, it's like, oh, they're just paid by DC, or, oh, man, the critics are wrong about this, like, come on, like, it's not that bad, blah, blah. It's like, actually, it is. It's like, it's just funny that people go, like, people who, like, these are usually people who probably don't even know that much about critiquing anything, and they're like, "Oh, what are they talking about? I liked it, so they must be wrong. They must be." It's like, come on, man. Like, it's your opinion. But yeah, no, I watched 2 episodes into the show, and I got up to a scene where I don't even want to talk about it because it was so just dumb, and it made me just dislike the main character so much. It's so hard to watch because it was just like he's the guy you're supposed to be watching the show for, and he's so dumb and so like doesn't have any real charisma. I mean, it's hard to have charisma if you're playing a dumb character that the audience is smarter than, obviously. But it's just it was okay. Well, hang on, let me calm down. Let me explain why. Because I have nothing else to talk about besides explaining what I'm doing. So yeah, so the beginning of the show is basically I'm just gonna explain why I thought it was stupid. Because the story of the show is that he's like this ancient savior guy who is the Iron Fist. He's like basically like the savior of this monk congregation or monk organization or something. And he's the chosen one, basically, is obviously what I'm getting at here. And he's coming back to America everyone in the U.S., including his family or his friends and stuff, everyone thought he died. It's very much like Batman Begins, if you've seen that movie. It's very much like how Bruce Wayne left and he is thought to be dead for so long, except in this situation, Iron Fist was on a plane with his family and the plane crashed and everyone just assumed he died, but in reality he was taken by a few monks and they trained him, they raised him. But now 20 some years later, or however old he's supposed to be, he's coming back, and yeah. So, but all that to say, his plan for coming back was simply just to go up to people that he knew and to go to his family's business building, because his family owned a corporation called Rand, I guess. So his plan was to just go up to the building and to go like, "Hey, I'm Danny Rand, I'm back, guys." Like, that was his plan, and that's fine. That I guess you could. That maybe makes sense. Maybe don't just go straight from the plane to the building. Maybe have some kind of plan. That's fine, I guess. But more importantly, throughout the show, nobody believes him. And also, the dumb part is that nobody even nobody even thinks. Well, I guess his sister or his one of his friends is willing to maybe believe it, but the fact that they're so this kid could not possibly even be Danny Rand. This is so impossible. We're not even gonna remotely consider the idea that this person could be Danny Rand or whatever. That gets old really quickly. it's a plot plot device or story choice that gets really old with the audience. I think it's kind of because we already know he's Danny Rand, so to see all these people not even I couldn't even conceive of the idea that this guy is this guy. And I mean, that's, as a story point, isn't bad because I'll get to the bad stuff, but because the guy he knew is really the main one doing that in such denial, it was childhood friend, and it's not terrible because his father, who's in charge of his business, does start to believe, is yeah, why he might be Danny, and then they realize that he kind of is, but he's still putting on a front that he doesn't believe it, which, because they have a plan, because they don't want it, because they don't want him to be part of the business or whatever. So it kind of makes sense, I guess. That's not really the problem. That's just some annoying thing, and it's just really poorly written how how they're just not willing to believe it's him and everything. It's just not well written. But that as a plot point is fine. The problem comes later when they decide to commit him into like a mental institution type thing, and and but they kind of are they're kind of thinking like either way, like the reason they do it is makes sense. They're like either way, even if he is Danny, he's gonna want, you know, he's gonna want this company, and we don't want him to have that, so let's commit him anyway, and that's fine. The main problem I had was when, and all this to say, all this stuff in the actual, all the way this unfolds in the actual like story is just awful. The way it's done is just really bad, and that's kind of the way the execution of the unfolding of the story is just simply awful, and it's just awful. So already it's, you know, it's hard to buy into, but then at the end of episode 2 was where I had to just end it, and it also doesn't help that this guy is not a great actor. He's not portraying this character well enough to make it interesting. But yeah, okay, so all this to say that I was at the end of second episode, and he's talking to this doctor guy. This doctor guy, first of all, this is like the worst doctor you know, I'd ever seen. Like he's supposed to be I thought he was like a fake doctor at first. That's what I thought, because I'm like, oh, that would make sense. This guy was just pretending to care about Danny Rand's identity, but in reality he's just like working for the CEO guy who's you know, trying to, who doesn't want Danny to be believed by anybody. And if the doctor was doing that, that would have been more acceptable to me. But there's a scene before the end, I'll get to the end, but there's a scene where Danny tries to, where like he brings Danny into his office and he shows him like a commercial, because he doesn't believe that the real Danny is Danny, so he shows him a commercial of a young Danny Rand, a young Iron Fist, which is the main character. So he shows him a video of the young version of himself, and he says like, see, this is the real Danny Rand and stuff. First of all, it's like, what would that do? Like, this guy can't be a therapist, because like, oh, this is the child, so this can't be you, because you don't look like this child. Like, I don't even understand the point. I guess he just believed that he wasn't the real Danny, so he was showing him this because he thought he was crazy or whatever. But then once Danny goes like, yeah, that is me, and I remember that day when I was a kid, and I remember all that stuff. So he does all that, and then after he like says he remembers, the doctor gets like impatient, like immediately, like he gets impatient, like, oh, he's still sticking to his guns, as if seeing this video from years ago would immediately make him go, oh, okay, I'll give up this because I see this video. So already it's ridiculous. And the doctor goes like, no, you're not Danny or whatever, like, this isn't you. And he does this whole thing, and I'm like, that was it. Like, he just, like, he had this whole plan of, I'm gonna show this guy his image as a kid, and I'm gonna tell him that this is the real Danny, and that sometimes people take on different personas and everything. But then as soon as he denies it once, I'm just gonna get angry and go, no, you're not Danny. And so when that happened, I'm like, wait, what? This guy can't be a doctor. I know that's not the right approach, and I'm not even a doctor, to just, you know, give into your therapy like 2 seconds in. And then the monk of Iron Fist, the guy who's supposed to be the sage, you know, Buddha incarnate guy, he all of a sudden gets angry, and he goes, no, I am Danny, like, you just stop saying I'm not Danny. It just makes him come off like an idiot, like, not even an idiot, but like a child, and not in like an appealing way, not in like a, oh, he's naive way, like this guy is an idiot way, and I don't relate to him because I'm not an idiot. So I can't follow him. So that's already stupid. And then all this to get to the pinnacle of this episode, where the doctor actually does do some intelligent thing, and he does look up, he does research, and he researches about what Danny tells him about, and for anyone who's just joining this live stream, I'm talking about Iron Fist. Just because, fuck it, I don't know. I just watched it last night and I want to talk about it. So if you've seen Iron Fist, anybody who's just joining, I don't mean to spoil anything. It's like in the first 2 episodes. But yeah, so after the doctor does some investigation stuff on Iron Fist, and he goes and he starts to use the information that Iron Fist told him about, and he goes like, okay, let me ask some people he knows to see if this information matches up. So he does that, and then it does match up with what Iron Fist told him. He asked some people he knew at the time, and he goes like, oh wait, this actually might be Danny, and so maybe he isn't lying. And then so at the end of the episode, he brings him into the office, and at this point, I'm like, okay, that was actually, finally he did something smart. Like, somebody in the show did something intelligent, so I'm happy. And so at the scene, he brings Danny in his office, and he goes like, so can you tell me about your teachers? Can you tell me about your past and stuff like that? And Danny tells the doctor about it, and then the doctor realizes, like, oh, I researched these things, and what he's telling me is true. So this must be the real Danny Rand and everything. And so the doctor tells him like, alright Danny, I actually do believe you now, because I looked this stuff up and it checks out, and only the real Danny Rand would know this stuff. And so I'm like thinking, finally can we get done with this plot line? And then what happens is Danny Rand immediately says like, oh, so you can let me go now. Good, because I'm the Iron Fist or whatever. And then, or no, the doctor asks him, where have you been? He's like, oh, I went to this different dimension. It's called Kunlun, and I'm actually the Iron Fist, and I have this sacred power. That's what he tells him. Like, he tells him, where have you been? Oh, I've been in a different dimension. Like, why? Why would you tell him that? What? It's like, oh, is this something we all know about? No, no one knows about this stuff. It's like, dude, you're in a psychiatric hospital, and they want to commit you. They want to prove that you're sane and functional person. So the first thing you tell them as soon as they're starting to believe you is, I'm from a different dimension, because that's the truth. It's like yeah, but no one knows about this, so why? And then not only that, it was immediately afterward, he's like, okay, so can I go now? Because I'm the Iron Fist. It's like, no one knows what the Iron Fist is, and he's saying it like just because it's true, everyone's just supposed to believe it. And it made me immediately angry, and it made me immediately like, the show is dumb. Like, this is like something a 5-year-old would write. This does not have any type of logic to it at all. And yeah, and I just got really angry, and I stopped watching it, and I'll probably never watch it again, because from what I hear, it doesn't get much better. So I don't know if I explained that too well, but it just really bothered me, and I wanted to share it because I don't know anybody else who watched the show, because most people I know watched all the other Marvel shows and skipped that one. But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys seen Iron Fist? Let me know. Anybody in the chat? And if you have, any questions, of course, feel free to ask. And if you have any questions about Deadstar specifically, I'd be willing to answer those. I promise I will not just rant about shows and movies that I don't like, that you have not seen. Hopefully, I won't do that. Only, sorry, I'm a little out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little, a little tired, but I'm gonna keep moving. Basically, just trying to get this guy to get up. Oh, man. Okay, let me check the, oh, so there's 2 people. Hello, second person, and thanks for joining. If you, I don't know if you caught on to what I was talking about earlier, but I was talking about Iron Fist. I watched 2 episodes, and I was just ranting a little bit about it. Not really ranting, very calmly, complaining, I guess, is more I think you would call it. I can't really loudly rant right now since it's really late. But yeah, I was just saying how I didn't like it. Alright. So how are you guys doing? I just realized that I'm only talking about myself and not my work. Everyone else having a pretty weird, exhausting day. Because I've been having some trouble sleeping, so I'm waking up at like 6 p.m. or after I've been going to sleep at like 9 a.m. and then waking up at like 6 p.m. or something like that. It's really it's taking a toll. It's actually making me more tired throughout the day, which isn't helping anything. Oh crap. Oh wait, hang on a second. I apologize. Hang on for 2 seconds. Crap. Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. I see someone posted something in the chat. I'll respond in 2 seconds. Just gotta computer slowing down. Alright, okay, we got somebody in chat. Hello, Mr. Banana Grabber 19? Is that a Trump thing? Where did I learn Blender? Like where? I learned it on the computer. I did tutorials on. Well, actually, literally learned it here because I'm on YouTube, and I literally learned, how to do Blender through tutorials on YouTube. And Blender used to have like this tutorial site for beginners. I don't even know if they still have that. But I did when I was first starting on Blender. I would just go through each beginner tutorial, and that's sort of how I learned it. As for when I started back in 2008, that was when I first started. Pretty sure it's 2008. Yeah, maybe even 2007 actually. I'm always curious of how many, Blender people are actually fans of Deadstar. I'm always it's hard to gauge how many people are actually like interested in the narrative or the show or the animation, or who are Blender people. It's always interesting. Have I ever done any? Yeah, freelance. That's so funny because that's how I make my income. So yes, I've definitely done freelance. Actually, literally before this, the reason I'm doing this live stream is actually because I was Skyping with one of my freelance employers, and I had to plug in my microphone, and I just I don't know. I had my microphone plugged in, and I just finished talking with him, and I was going to go back to work on Deadstar. So I figured, like, yeah, the microphone's already in, and I'm already here. So why don't I just live stream? So it's literally how I decided to live stream. So yes, I do freelance. I do freelance specifically Blender stuff, but yeah, that's how I make my moolah. Hopefully I'll make some more after I finish this with Blender tonight. Man, I'm working really slow. For anyone watching, I apologize. I'm going to start to kick it in gear a little bit here so I can get something done. The live stream kind of slowing this down a little bit. I'm not really sure why. Also, but yeah, hopefully can do some more freelance stuff, because I kind of enjoy it. It can be difficult sometimes, especially because you're kind of working with people that you wouldn't usually work with. But I guess that's work in general. Alright, so she needs to grab the sword right now. This fight scene is killing me. I just realized how long I've been working on this thing. Oh man, I don't know why I'm going like really, full throttle in this fight scene. Like, I just really want it to be good, but I might be going too far. Maybe I should have just stuck to, keeping it simple. I always tell people who ask me for advice and stuff like that, I always tell them to keep it simple and don't go, don't bite off more than you can chew. But I just do that all the time, so I'm just terrible at giving advice. It's like, do as I say, not as I do, I guess. And it doesn't help that the computer's being really annoying. Yeah, last time it was doing so well. Let me try and change the settings. Can I change it? No, I don't think I can. I was trying to see if I can change settings while I'm, oh, so never mind. Settings are actually good. Never mind. But changing the streaming settings. Oh yeah, I just realized today is Star Wars Day. Or yesterday, I guess, is my time zone. Anybody a big Star Wars fan? If so, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I was kind of hoping they would, release some kind of Episode 8 stuff. I don't know if you guys are Star Wars fans, but I'm really excited for Episode 8. I was kind of hoping they would release some stuff on Star Wars Day. I did see that Rian Johnson did, he made, like, I guess he's working on the score with John Williams right now. and he released a video of him and John Williams, which is pretty awesome. That's actually pretty cool. You know, I guess I'd like seeing that stuff, even if you can't get a trailer. But yeah, anyone Star Wars fan in chat? Oh, sorry. Wait, someone asked me. Banana Grabber. That's like the dirtiest name. Banana Grabber 69. You gotta have the 69 at the end there, I guess. What type of work do your employees ask for? I don't know. Well, I can't really go into detail on the things I'm working on now because it's kind of like a private thing. But I guess just modeling in general. I've had a modeling job for a while, for about a year, a little over a year. It's been ongoing, and I've had one job didn't really work out, which was like an animation job. It was kind of like animating a logo type thing, but not, definitely not rendering. My rendering isn't great on I don't have the best computer, so usually it's modeling and but the job I do now is like everything. It's modeling, it's editing, and it turned into like pretty much just me just doing everything on the project, which is fine because you know I like money, so that it all works out. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, hopefully, but I'm gonna let you guys know a little secret. I really just want to do this kind of thing for a job. Like I wanted just my movies, and I want my animations and stuff to be good enough that I could just do that for my job. Because I'm not really, you know, an animator. I never really thought of myself as an animator. I just learned animation because I wanted to do films and shows like this, and hopefully, really freelance stuff is not something I want to do for that long. I'd rather just I want to get my films and animations to a point one day maybe where it has a big enough audience that I can just make money that way, and that's kind of my goal, I guess you could say. Because like I said, I don't think of myself as an animator. I just learned it as like a means to an end. I'm not like somebody who just likes to animate stuff just for it's fun. It's definitely fun to do that, but it's not like something it's not what I ever planned to do. As like it's not like I'm not one of those people who are just like, hey, I just want to be hired to animate other people's stuff. That's not really my goal, or it's not really fun necessarily for me to do that. I just like Deadstar. I'm motivated to do that because it's my story and I want to tell the story, and I'm hopefully gonna tell more stories. And yeah, hopefully I just want to be. That's my goal, is for people to go like for Deadstar and other projects, for people to just want to see them, and I just want that to kind of be my job as a filmmaker. Just it's weird to say because everyone's like, oh, it's like everyone just wants to be famous and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I just want people to. I guess if I just want people to like my stories and stuff. It's like I don't. That's like, if that's what I don't necessarily need to be known by everybody, but just a core audience would be cool. Let me look at the chat. Oh, Banana. Oh, that's from Arrested Development. Is that from the original? I don't remember. I haven't seen the original Arrested Development in years, I guess, so I wouldn't really remember. But I know they came out with a new series on Netflix, I remember. So I'm not sure if that's what that's from, but that's funny, though. Arrested Development is awesome. I'm curious to Banana Grabber, and it's weird saying that, but I'm curious to you guys and whoever else is watching. Like, I'm always curious, how did you guys find the show? Like, how did you come across it? Did you find it like on Facebook, on like a Blender forum, or did you just find it on like an anime site or something? Like, let me know in the chat. That's what I really should have been asking before. I was just going off on a tangent, but yeah, let me know where you guys found it. It's always interesting. It's always kind of helpful for me to know where it's getting seen, where it's building its audience at. I'm always curious to know. And also, like, how long have you been following the show, or are you new, or you've been following it for a few years? 'Cause I've been doing this for at least 200 years now. At least. Oh wait, no, that's just what it feels like sometimes. No, that's a really stupid joke. It's not my A game, guys. So please forgive me. Oh, I'm the same way. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm reading your comment, Mr. Banana. I'll have to get my own video production started off the ground. Currently doing contract work. Yeah, I guess, doing the same thing as I am. Just doing, just work to hopefully get to that place one day where you can, work on your own stuff and, build the audience out. Because that's the cool thing about, technology nowadays is you could just, if you, the tools and the audience is out there, you just gotta, you gotta find a way to put yourself out there and to find a way to reach the people who would be interested in your product, and just hopefully, hope to God that they respond to it and stuff like that. Because it's like, it's easy for me to go like, it's easy for me to say like, oh, I just want to get the anime fans and to get those kind of people watching the show, but it's, who's to say that when it actually, reaches, if it actually, can reach a bunch of anime fans, who's to say if they'll actually respond well to it? You know what I mean? It's like, it might get that opportunity, and then, well, it's kind of getting that opportunity soon, which is why I'm working really hard on this. But you might get there, and then you might realize that, oh, they don't really respond to it as much as you think, and that's kind of the hardest thing. But I've been really lucky with Deadstar, actually. For the most people that I've shown it to, whether I've shown it at cons and stuff before, most people have been really nice and really interested in it. So that's, it's stuff like that that gets me to think that, like, that it means something and it's worth continuing, because even though I haven't had the opportunity to show it to them, and the people I have shown it to have been really supportive and really like, oh yeah, keep that going, that's cool. So it's like, that kind of keeps me motivated and makes me think I'm not crazy. It makes me think like, oh wait, well, if these people, they got into it, then, then I'm not alone in this, and what I believe will affect people might actually do it. So yeah, that always, I've had a lot of pretty good feedback from most people, so it keeps me motivated. Check my email. But yeah, to what you said earlier, Banana Grabber, it's, keep trying, like, don't get discouraged, and don't, like, if you put yourself out there and people don't respond, don't, just keep going. Like, people just do okay, just, figure out why they didn't respond, and try again. It's always, there's not like you know there's not like a time, it's not like a point where it's like, oh well, I've reached the end, so like they didn't like something I did, so that's it for me, and kind of thing. Not that I'm saying you do that, but I'm saying that, it's that's just what I found, is because whenever that's happened to me, I do feel like, okay, well, maybe I just don't know what I'm doing, and maybe I've been wrong about this whole thing, and then, but I realize, like, the more I do it, then the more I'm like, especially when you're doing online stuff, it's kind of like, people kind of, when they see, even now when they see, like, the Deadstar channel, they kind of go, like, oh, this has gotten much better, I'll get into this, because you're clearly getting better. It's not like TV where you get that one chance and then, oh well, you didn't get the attention you needed at first, so it's over now and you'll never get to try again. It's like, for online stuff, you kind of get, it's not that you should think, that you'll get second chances in life, but still, it's like, you should work as if, you only get one chance, but at the same time, it's like, it's not over just because people don't like the thing you do. Not saying that even applies to you, I'm just saying in general. But you probably, you might have something out there, and then the first time it might be incredible and people will respond immediately. Oh, I'm sorry, you said, what are some of the films that inspire you to become a filmmaker? Oh my good lord, how much time do you have? Well, I think the obvious one is very appropriate for today, which is Star Wars. Star Wars is Empire Strikes Back. It's my favorite live-action film. My favorite animated film is Princess Mononoke, and those are my two favorite films. But oh man, there's so many, dude. They're like all the Hayao Miyazaki movies. Akira is a big one. Akira was one that I was into before I even heard about Hayao Miyazaki. Years and years ago, when I was in high school, and the films continue, like a lot of films continue to inspire me and stuff like that. There are films that aren't even like, and not even just films, like shows, like One Piece for me is like kind of like and I just got into One Piece a couple years ago, like in 2014. So after I already started Deadstar, and since I started One Piece and stuff, that's become kind of like my anime school, like how to do an anime right, and kind of thing. That and like Full Metal Alchemist, like that kind of thing. And it's not even like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm making an anime, so only animes can inspire me. It's like Western movies and inspire me, and like I said, Star Wars. It doesn't have to be. I just mean anime in the sense of, I just mean those particular anime in the sense that, like, they're just great serial, like, entertainment. Like they do the serial type storytelling just incredibly well. So it's like kind of like, that's what I take from it. I don't take like, oh, so it has to be like anime isn't a type of storytelling. It's just, it's not, anime in general is not a form. Every anime is different. So it's like, you kind of take what you get from characters, and like from One Piece, it's not even the fact that it's anime that inspires me. It's the fact that, like, the characters are so great, and I realize like oh, that's really what TV and serial entertainment is about. Like, just great characters that you can follow and forever. Like when I think of One Piece, I'm like, this has been going on for so long because the characters are so great, and so because I'll follow these guys anywhere, kind of thing. And that is kind of what I think about. It has nothing to do with, oh, because I'm making an anime type thing, then I can only be inspired by anime. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Which, I took me a while to kind of realize. But yeah, so many things. Speaking of Star Wars, I'm gonna watch Star Wars probably after I do this stuff. But yeah, Star Wars is a pretty big one. I get inspired by random things like kind of the feelings I get when I watch some things sometimes. Like I don't know if any of you guys Full Metal Alchemist fans? Have you guys ever gotten into that show? I don't know if you have, but they made a Full Metal Alchemist movie, and I remember when I watched that, I it's not like the greatest movie in the world. I really liked it, but it's not like an amazing film that's like, oh, I'm going to study this and this is going to be what inspires me. But just the animation style and how it changed. It's a movie based off of the TV show Full Metal Alchemist, but the movie had a different animation style, and the feeling I got from watching like the characters I loved in like a different cool animation style was just really cool. And like that kind of thing I think about sometimes, where I'm like, it'd be cool to do like a Deadstar episode that's in a different animation style, and like that kind of thing. Sometimes I think about that, and this actually, literally, this short that I'm working on now is kind of inspired by that too. Where this is going to be sort of a different style than the previous Deadstar episodes, and so is I don't know if you guys have seen the animation I did for Deadstar, the Harrison versus M short film like that. A lot of the color palettes in that was inspired by that Full Metal Alchemist movie, and just anime movies in general. So yeah, a lot. I get inspired by almost everything that I like to a certain extent. Like even if I bring it back to One Piece, I'll get off of this, but if I bring it back to One Piece, even just humor, or like even Full Metal Alchemist, like the humor of something, I'm like, the effect that humor kind of has on the audience and characters that can make you laugh is so important. And so even like that, I get inspired by, and I take from. I go like, ooh, I don't take jokes obviously, but I mean like humor in general. I'm like, oh, so like this is like, it's important that that Harrison and Pamela in this show have good, they have a good rapport, and there's some humor to the characters, or else, because originally, if for anyone who's watched Deadstar from like the beginning, first of all, thank you if you have, but there wasn't like a lot of humor, and I didn't, because I wanted the drama to work, and I was so like, I was so like, a drama has to work, this isn't comedy, and blah blah blah, but like I was so held up on that I didn't even consider the idea of using humor. And then it's only a couple years ago that I realized, like, no, this needs to have some humor to it. This needs to be funny sometimes, not all the time, obviously, but this needs that, and that's, stuff like that inspires me. So yeah, I'm always getting inspiration from a bunch of things. Also, specifically, this show would be Samurai Champloo was a big influence. Also, I forgot about that. Samurai Champloo, and obviously Bebop. Samurai Champloo, Bebop, and Black Lagoon, and Star Wars, and Mononoke, a bunch of Hayao Miyazaki movies. Like, all of them kind of inspired Deadstar. Yeah. Like if you watch the short film I did, Harrison vs. Sam, the Deadstar short, if you watch that, there's like a hip hop sort of scratch track in the background of most of it, of some of it in the beginning, and that is influenced by both Bebop and Samurai Champloo, which, because I knew from the beginning that like I would listen to the opening of Samurai Champloo while I was working on Deadstar back in the day, back in 2012. Like that was always my goal, was to have the show kind of have like a hip hop feel to it. I don't even know if that makes sense, but like I always kind of pictured like people making AMVs to Deadstar and putting hip hop like in the backgrounds, because I don't know. I think there's something cool about the samurai sci-fi, aesthetic of the show. I think there's something like hip hop and dope just about that. So that I think about that too. So that was an influence for me. And yeah. Oh, you just finished watching Samurai Champloo? Yeah, I love Samurai Champloo. So one of the best shows ever. It's by the same guy actually who did. I'm pretty sure it's by the same guy who did Bebop, and he did Samurai. He did Cowboy Bebop, and I think his new one is Space Dandy. I think that's the same guy who did Bebop and Space Dandy. And I haven't seen Space Dandy yet. I'm kind of saving it because I'm like so excited. My brother's like, "You gotta watch this." I'm like, "I know." For some reason, when I know I'm gonna like something, I put it off because I'm kind of like, "Yeah, I know I'm gonna like it." I mentioned that before on here, but yeah, whenever I like I haven't seen Rick and Morty. I think I mentioned that on one of these live streams because I know that I'm gonna like it. So for whatever reason, it takes like the curiosity out of it for me. I don't know if that even makes sense, but like when I know I'm gonna like something, I just go like, yeah, that's in the bag. Like I know that when I put that on, how I'm gonna feel. So it's really stupid and crazy of me, but that's just, I don't know, the way I am. And then of course when I actually do watch it, I obviously like, oh my god, I should have been watching this before. I'm such an idiot. Like I thought I could calculate my own feelings about it, but in reality, it's it's better than I thought. But yeah, yeah, but yeah, I used to listen to. You said you just watched Samurai Champloo. I used to listen to the opening song, I forget what it's called, a battle cry. Yeah, I used to listen to that while I animated Deadstar because, like the second episode of Deadstar, that was like that was like the song that inspired that. And obviously, then I didn't really have the animation skill, or the technical skill to really make that cool of a fight. But now I definitely I listen to a bunch of the song "Battle Cry" from Samurai Champloo. That song in general is a big influence of Deadstar in all the fights. Like I kind of in my head I kind of play that song in the background of almost every fight that I do. I try to put some kind of I try to make the fights have some kind of cool hip hop style to them. Even if hip hop doesn't always play in the background, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I think about while I'm animating. Oh, we got some more people in watching. How you guys doing? Let's see, what was I asking before? Oh yeah, I was asking for anyone watching. I'm curious, and this goes to you too, Banana Grabber. I'm curious how you guys discovered the show. Like, I'm always really interested to hear how that happened. Like where you first heard about it, or what got you into it, and that sort of thing. I'm always, it's cool also to hear, but it's also kind of it's also kind of useful for me to hear in terms of just like research on what I should do, or what works, or what outlets are working for the expansion of the show. So yeah, if you're watching, let me know in the chat like how you got into the show, or where you first discovered it, that sort of thing. That'd be really helpful. I should have been asking that from the beginning when I was doing these live streams, but it just sort of came to me now. Because like sometimes I see like subscribers of Deadstar, and I'll look at the subscriber list. I'm like, wow, how did that person like find my thing? Like that's always very interesting to me. Like I was telling you guys, whoever was watching the live stream the other day, I was saying that somehow the guy who created Dragon Ball Absalom, he like found one of my live streams and he came across it, and he was like super nice, and and I was wondering like how did he find this? Like I was really genuinely I was like I wonder how he came across this. So yeah, I'm always wondering how that happens. It's a very it's like it's a good demographic analysis for me to know. Wait, let me check if anyone responded. Oh, hello again, Alkali. I ran across. Oh, Blender Artist. Yeah. Oh, it's cool. I didn't even know anyone. I whenever I check, or whenever I used to check Blender Artist, I haven't posted there in a few years. I think. I think it's yeah. I haven't posted there in a while. But yeah, whenever I posted stuff there, I never really got any responses, so I just stopped posting there. Maybe I should again, but yeah, I haven't posted there in a long time. But that's cool that that's where you found it. I did not know that that worked. Maybe I should, do that again. I was kind of, I don't know, I'm always kind of a little nervous around Blender sites because I always kind of feel like a lot of Blender people don't like me or don't like the show because the 3D it wasn't that great to start with, and they're kind of like, oh, here's. I've literally had people. This isn't just paranoia. I've had people like report one of my posters. Or I had one person report one of my posts on the Facebook page as spam or something, or they reported it, and I was like, luckily, one of the administrators of the Facebook group is very nice, and he's like, this isn't spam. This guy's been working hard on this, and that was very nice of him. But yeah, so I like reported my thing, and I'm like, man, am I just do Blender people just find me like annoying? Like at this point, they're like, oh, this guy and his little stupid show again with this basic 3D stuff. And I'm like, so I always, I'm a little self-conscious when it comes to that. But I get it. The 3D isn't like I'm not like the most amazing 3D animator out there, so. I get when people are like, this isn't that great, like, it's like some pretty base level stuff here. So, so I just feel like at this point I'm just like, yeah, annoying people. Even my best stuff, people are like, yeah, this isn't that great. Let's see, alright, let me check if you guys. I was trying to learn Blender and saw a trailer. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Banana Grabber 69. It's weird to say, but no, seriously, that's really nice. Thanks. That's so Eon Glitch says, first of all, how's it going, Eon Glitch? I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat, or I don't think I've ever seen you before in here. So how's it going? Appreciate you watching. So you found it through doing a Blender animation search. That's cool. Interesting. So it looks like most of you guys are Blender people. Oh, thanks. You like the animation style? I like it too. I like it too, man. It's like people always are asking if I should change the style and stuff. I'm like, I like the style. Like, I like the way it is. Like, it's like I've heard that from some people. It could use. I try to hone it down. I try to make it better every time. So it's like, it's not like I just think that like everything's perfect and nothing needs to be changed. Like every single Blender, every single Deadstar episode, I'm changing and sort of honing the style and making it better and making the characters look better. So it's not like I'm resting on my laurels. Like everything is perfect now and I don't need to advance. I'm not like that. I'm just I just like. Generally, I just like the style of the show, so that's good. That's really nice to hear. It means I'm not alone. Hopefully, I like because it's kind of like a pseudo. It's like it's developed into like a pseudo cell shaded, but with a little bit of 3D flavor on top. It's like I don't know. I really like the way it turned out. It kind of morphed into its own kind of style, which is weird for me because, like I said before, I'm not really like 100% an animator. Like I started out just doing video, and I'm not. I went to art school, but I didn't finish, and I don't know too much, or I know a lot now, but when I started Deadstar, I didn't really know that much about animation, and well, I knew a lot, but I didn't know too much about style and design and stuff. I know plenty now. I'm just saying, like when I started out, I didn't know that much, so it's always funny to hear. It's always nice to see that like Deadstar, the style of it, sort of kind of becoming its own thing, because a couple years ago I didn't. It's like I've always felt like I was like the animation amateur kind of. I guess I still probably will always be, but I've always sort of felt like that, because when I started Deadstar, people were like, "This is like amateurish, and you don't even know what you're doing," and I got a lot of shit for it. So that's always kind of scarred me a little bit. And now it's like, now I kind of feel more comfortable, but still, it's just it's like the ups and downs of critiques. It's like it kind of hurts a lot of times, especially like before, because I was a little more sensitive to critiques than I am now. But at the same time, it's kind of made me a better artist, just because it's made me think, put a little more thought into things, and obviously it made me learn more about animation and stuff like that. But yeah, did go to school for it, but animation school is really expensive. I would just suggest anybody to just learn it online and just try it for yourself, and just watch a lot of movies. Honestly, that's like the biggest, to Mr. Banana's point before, like films that influence me. It's like that's really where you kind of learn, where I learned how to make animation. That's just watching it. Really, that's really, and I did learn a lot about color in school and stuff like that. I did learn the principal stuff in school, and I learned about like weight and animate. Like I learned a lot in school, mostly about principles, which I think is important. But honestly, that's not something I couldn't have just learned online. like if I just looked it up online. I did learn mostly. Well, I went to animation for 2D. Like I didn't get into 3D before I left. So yeah, I was learning 2D stuff. I did learn a lot about drawing perspectives and drawing backgrounds and stuff like that. That was I think that was the most I learned, really, at the end of the day. Oh wait, I think someone. Oh, that's what's funny. I was going into animations to art school, and Banana Grabber asked me about it. Yes, yes, Anthony Birch. Ghost Dog has been actually my biggest influence. Not even just in Deadstar, just in life in general. I think there's plenty of lessons that we can all learn from Ghost Dog about the way of the black samurai in the hood. I think that's like a lesson that I don't even know why they're not teaching that in schools. I think that's it's a blight on the American education system that Ghost Dog is not a required viewing. We're in some. I mean, everyone's talking about healthcare, but we should really be talking about Ghost Dog as a part of the education curriculum. I really believe that. But that's all true. That's not a joke. But yeah, it's about art school. For myself, I don't know if I would recommend it, honestly. I would say just strictly because of the cost, at least the one that I went to, because it was like a private kind of school. It wasn't like private as in like really exclusive. It was just like it was a public kind of, I don't even know how I would describe it. It was private, but it was kind of like a shitty school. But I learned a lot there, but it was very little rundown. This is the Art Institute, Philadelphia. But everything, like I can't even say that I didn't learn a lot there, because I did, but it's just the cost, I think, is really the crazy part. I think it cost me so much to learn a lot of stuff that I could have, just learned online if I really dug deep into it. But you do learn, and there is a lot that you can't just learn online. Like I said, like perspective, like measuring perspective. I learned how to do that, which is something I still can't really find online. I learned how to do that with backgrounds, which is really fucking difficult. I don't know how animators do that stuff. That was one of the hardest things I've ever learned. Um, so there's some stuff, and I obviously they teach you a lot of programs nowadays, which is really good. But the books and the cost is just crazy, man. It's like I can't even. I can't even get into it. It just kills me. So I don't know, and I learned a lot just on my own too. So that's really what I mean. As much as I did learn, there's a lot you can learn from school. I did learn a lot on my own. So and I learned the basics, a lot of the basics on my own, and that's sort of you know what I use day to day. Like I don't. It's kind of like a lot of stuff. I mean, but that's just me. I work on my own, so I can and I work on the animation at Deadstar is fairly straightforward. It's not. There's some advanced stuff, but there's nothing too crazy. And I don't use I try to keep it to a point where it's like where nothing is too advanced in a way, because I don't. I'd rather just focus on the story and stuff like that than actually, I don't know. There's a lot of advanced stuff in Death Star, but yeah, I just, for the most part, I use just the basics when I animate stuff. So, and that's stuff you can learn online. So yeah, all that to say is I'm not really crazy about art school because of the cost. But that's not to say that you can't learn a lot from that. You certainly will learn a lot. And if you're trying to get like a career, this is the last thing I'll say because I feel like I'm rambling. But if you're trying to get like a career in animation where you want to be hired by like Disney and you want to be hired like a company to work in it and stuff like that and work on other people's stuff, then I think you should definitely go to school. I think you should just say fuck the cost. I'm just gonna go to school because when they look at your resume, they're looking for a degree in animation, stuff like that. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't feel the need to go to school, because I'm not really trying to do that. I don't really want to work for Pixar or any of those companies. I want to, make my own films and do something outside of the industry, kind of, because I don't want to work on, cartoons my whole life. So, yeah. But that's yeah. That would be my advice. Yeah, yeah, that's a good suggestion, Anthony Birch. Yeah, I'd suggest if you're trying to get into, if you want to go to art school and stuff like, or if you just want to learn what they learn in art schools, read a lot of animation books. I have a bunch of those books and stuff laying around. But yeah, again, if you want to, if you want to get a job, like I said, you need to get that degree. That's really important. But I already know the stuff, and I can get freelance stuff because I have this show as as my portfolio online. So if I need freelance stuff, I just, hey, I made this show, and they go like, okay, and but if I wanted to work at like Disney or something, then I'd need like a degree, or if I actually wanted like a career in that kind of way, then I would do that. But I don't really. So that's, you know, I honestly, if I got hired to do video and film work that had nothing to do with animation, and I'd be fine with doing that, and then doing my stuff on my own, you know, outside of the job and stuff like that. I'm kind of in that kind of mindset. I'm not really trying to, you know, just work it like, hey, I created like that, like I created that texture in that one movie. Like, oh, great, cool. You know, it's like I can get money doing whatever. But as far as, you know, that goes, that's kind of how I feel. Let's see. Young Glitch says, I'm really invested in seeing the show reach more people. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Yeah, I hope I hope I can get it there. I hope I can keep, you know, trying to expand the show and trying to, you know, get people to talk about it and to get it out there and stuff. So yeah, well, I'm working on it. It's all good. Alright, I need to play this back. This is the reason I'm not playing this back is because it's so choppy. Alright. Man, this scene is almost, I'm trying to get this up to 30 seconds. Because I want this to be, hopefully when you guys see the shot in the movie, it's, you know, you'll see why it's this extensive. Oh, Banana Grower says, I would think a portfolio would be, unfortunately, it depends where you're trying to get hired in terms of portfolio, because, you know, I would like to think I have a pretty good portfolio and stuff like that, but when you're trying to get hired by like the big times, and because most people's career is like they want to you know, be hired at Pixar and stuff like that, but of those kind of official big places, they sort of require a degree, despite what some people, you know, everyone, like a lot of my family, people are like, no, you already have portfolio, so you could be able to get any job. I'm like, no, it's not how it works. I've applied to so many places where it's like required a degree, and it required like 7 to 8 years of professional experience. It's like, oh shit. But luckily, like I said, I'm not trying to do that whole thing. But yeah, for most places they do require a degree, unless you kind of know. Like if I knew a lot of people in the industry, maybe. But once again, I'm really trying to start my own thing. I'm not necessarily trying to. For me, I'm not saying, you know, if someone's out there and they want to get a job, that's what most people would want to do, is they want to get a job at like an animation studio kind of thing. But for me, that's not really my goal. But you know, I'm not most people, I guess. But yeah, hopefully but yeah, hopefully, you know, Deadstar can start to expand more. I'm starting to, you know, get some traction with some people, so we'll see what happens. Man, I wish I could play this back. This computer is so slow. It's because of the live stream. Let's see. Yes, that's Anthony Birch is on the money there. That's pretty much it. I mean, a portfolio is basically like when you're in art school, that is what you're building. Is there's even a class when I was in school, it's called portfolio class, and it's basically like it's building your portfolio. But but also, they need to see that paper. But yeah, it's like, portfolio is pretty, is kind of, is hang on, I'm losing my train of thought. But yeah, it's kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with graduating. But yeah, a lot, like you said, a lot of these big studios are just like, did this, they literally just look at like, okay, did this guy graduate from what school, like you said, like Cal Arts or something like that. And that's really important, unfortunately. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to school, but yeah. Alright, let's see. I know I talk about this quite often on here, but like, is anybody a Naruto fan on here? Anybody a Naruto fan in the chat? Let me know. I want to talk about something I just saw recently. I talk about Naruto a lot on here. It's funny because One Piece is actually my favorite anime, and yet I mostly talk about Naruto, which I don't even like that much. But One Piece is too near and dear to my heart and I like just bashing things. I don't know. I have a problem. But I was watching the new spin-off series called Boruto, and yeah, I don't know. Banana grabber. It's fortunate that this industry is very elitist. I mean, yeah, that's unfortunately how it is. It's not even just the animation industry; it's just film industry in general. That's partly why I don't really care that much about being in the industry. But I it's like I'm sure Pixar and these places, they don't exclusive, like, I'm sure they've hired people who don't have necessarily a degree or whatever, but they probably had to pull off something like amazing or something like let's say, in my case, let's say if like Deadstar became like, if I made like something that the entire animation industry was talking about with Deadstar or something like that, then I feel like in that case, or I made something that's just like, like I said, like amazing, and I put it to a film festival, and a bunch of film festivals talking about it, then I feel like, then Pixar, I might be like on their radar and something like that. And I'm not saying I want to be. I'm just using that as an example. I'm just saying that like that in that kind of case, they might they might use that as an exception and be like, yeah, well, this guy, he already knows this stuff. So, because I think there's a guy. So you guys are mostly Blender people. So you guys know the short film Sintel, the short film Sintel, which I loved. Like, that was my favorite Blender film that I've seen. I didn't really care for Tears of Steel and the Elephant's Dream or something like that. I gotta see Elephant's Dream again, but Sintel, I think, was amazing, and the ending got me emotionally. But the guy who directed that, I think he actually works now for Pixar, and but, well, like, once again, he directed like this award-winning film, and so like in his case, probably doesn't really even matter that he had a degree or not. He probably made that film, was able to make that film because he was professional 3D artist or something. But you know what I mean. It's like, if you can get buzz, then they'll probably hire you. It is pretty elitist, but that's America, unfortunately. the Rock Lee Ninja Pals. I've seen some of that. I've seen some clips on YouTube. I have not actually sat down and watched it. It's pretty funny from what I've seen. Uh, and it's kind of a shame though that like that's the treatment like Rock Lee gets. Like, like I kind of would have liked to seen him have more screen time in like the actual anime, rather than giving him like a little cute like funny series thing. Because he's like my favorite character, kind of one of my favorite characters. Him and like Kakashi are like my favorites. But yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's also kind of like, really, like, why didn't you just give him like an arc in the anime? I mean, I did hear they gave him like a filler arc, which I guess is cool, where he like where they showed how they passed the Chunin exam. I never saw that filler arc, but I guess I did hear about that. But yeah, the whole Ninja Pals thing, I'm like, come on, man, you gotta give my boy Rock Lee, give him something to do in the actual show. It's like, what has he done in the actual show? Like I don't even know. Like since like the first arc in Shippuden, like I don't even, he has barely contributed at all. And he was like everyone's like favorite character. But oh yeah, what I was gonna say about Naruto was I saw some of the episodes of the new Boruto show, and yeah, I'm not gonna be watching that. That was not very good. I've seen all 5 episodes of the show, and first of all, I don't like Boruto's personality. I don't really. Uh, I liked him in the movie. Like the movie was so good though, and the show. It's such a shame because I mean, for anyone who was on the live stream uh, a couple days ago knows that I know the voice actress who's gonna voice Boruto in English, and she is voiced for Deadstar. She voices Raj in episode 9. I told the whole story about it before, but I won't. You know, I might tell it at a different time, but yeah, as far as the actual show, this has nothing to do with her, but as far as the actual show, I just don't like the show, and I thought Boruto's personality worked in the movie as a one-off, but as an actual television show about him, I don't even understand, like what the struggle would be. I don't know if anyone's watched it, but, like, the struggle with Naruto is like, he had actual, like, problems, and he had, like, very compelling backstory, and he had some space. He had a lot to learn. Like that was the thing. He had so much to learn, and he was like, even though he had a lot to learn, he was so motivated. And in this series, it's kind of like Boruto. One, he's just like a rich kid, and also he's like popular, and also because he's the Hokage's son, and also he's like already pretty good ninja, and he doesn't really have any problems except for like, oh, my dad won't pay attention to me that much. Like that's, I'm like, well, it's not that interesting. And on top of that, he's like super cocky about it too. He's like, yeah, I'm Baruto, and I can teach all you guys some lessons because I'm like so mature already, and I'm kind of like a 20-year-old, even though I'm like supposed to be 10 in the show. Like he talks like he's already like an adult. I'm like, what? Like, I don't even understand what the purpose is. Like the story of the movie, I really liked because it was kind of like a one. Like even though it was about him being rich and he already had money but he wanted his dad's affections, that works as a one-off story. It doesn't really work as like a continuing show because he doesn't really have that much to grow, and you know what I mean. So I don't know. I'm not into it. Also, it's a little cheesy and a little I don't know, and I don't buy people who are like, it's only 5 episodes in. I'm like, yeah, that's when you know what a show's gonna be like. Like, I don't, just because it's based off Naruto, which had 500, doesn't mean I'm gonna watch 100 episodes of this thing that I don't like. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but don't mean to ramble on about that. But yeah, I wasn't into it. Before most of you guys showed up, I was ranting about Iron Fist. I don't know if any of you guys were here when I was doing that, but I watched that recently and I didn't like it. I don't know if you guys seen Iron Fist. I was like, I'm so into all the other characters. Like, I like Jessica Jones. Her show was it was a little boring, but I like the character Jessica Jones. I love Daredevil season 1 and 2. I loved the character Luke Cage. I loved most of his show until like the end, and then it got really silly and over the top. But the character and the actor of Luke Cage is awesome. I can't wait to see him in the Defenders. But yesterday, after the Defenders trailer came out, I started watching some Iron Fist, and I wasn't going to because I heard it sucked. But then I watched some of it. And I'm like, yep, this sucks. I'm not gonna watch this. Like I don't like it, and I'm not a critic, so I don't have to watch it. So it yeah, it didn't do it for me. But I don't know. What do you guys think? It's because I don't want to shit on it just because you know, I don't want you. I want just because I didn't like it. The Ayame Otaku. I've never seen you before either, Ayame Otaku. How are you? It seems a bit lacking. It does, like, and not even just compared to the other Marvel shows, but just Netflix in general. Like, even like compared to like, you know, the Kevin Spacey. What's the Kevin Spacey one? House of Cards and Orange Is the New Black. It's like these shows are like top tier in Marvel. Like Iron Fist just it had some things that just angered me to my core. Like the how dumb the character was. Just it's just like I was baffled. I was like, what is going on? Like he's not likable. He's dumb. He's like there's a difference between being naive and being like, oh, I haven't been in society for a while, so I'm naive. There's a difference between that and just being a dumb person. And also, it didn't make sense for him to be that dumb because it was like, and all right. So thank you for lurking, Ayame Otaku. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked the show. Again, I'm always interested to see who's because I don't get too many comments, so I'm always interested to see you know who I don't see usually in the comments. But yeah, I'm glad you like it. Thanks for watching. But yeah, for anyone who's watched Iron Fist, I just couldn't get into it. It's just he just wasn't as compelling as the others. And I do feel like it might have been a little missed opportunity to cast an Asian person. And no, not just because he knows kung fu. Like a lot of people were making that point. It's because he's supposed to be like the savior Buddhist of like Eastern culture and kung fu and Buddhism, and the fact is, like, in the comics, in the actual comics, he was written in a time where, like, I read all about this in Iron Fist. The original Iron Fist was written in a time where like Americans were making shows like Kung Fu, and they were appropriating Eastern culture and their things and their comic books and their TV shows, and not really casting an Asian American and stuff like that. So that's where this whole thing about Iron Fist being Asian comes from. It's not just because, like, oh, it's about a guy who does kung fu, so it should be Asian. It's not that. It's that the original comic book was kind of a little offensive. So it's kind of like, this might be a good time because we're in 2017 and there's no roles for Asian people. You know what I mean? There's no mainstream Asian stars in America, and this would be a good time to maybe do that. But you know, they didn't choose to do that. But that's like the least of the problems about the Iron Fist show. That's not even remotely why it sucks. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just a shame because I loved Daredevil and I loved Luke Cage and I loved all it. And it just, you know, let me down. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's just I got up to the second episode and I was like, nope, can't do it. Like and people were saying like, I heard people online like, oh man, what you got up to episode 8? It gets real good. I'm like, dude, it's like 8 hours. Like I got time for that. Like what? I gotta wait 8 hours for it to be pretty good. Like what? You know, it's like I don't got time for that kind of stuff. You know, you gotta work. Let's see. All right, I gotta change. Whoa. All right, that's a weird angle. All right, I'm sorry. Wait. Someone. All right, banana grabber. Keep grabbing those bananas. Appreciate you watching the live stream. Thanks. Alright, sorry, let me read you guys. The big problem with casting an Asian person is trying to catch the Asian market, which won't watch something with an Asian actor. Oh, that's right. That's actually a good point. Doctor Strange was the same way. Yeah. That's so. The irony of that is crazy, isn't it? But that is actually a good point. But still, I think what trumps that is just making a good movie. You know what I mean? It's like that's that's really difficult. But I do think that at the end of the day, a good movie will outlast that kind of thing, and which is why I was so upset with Ghost in the Shell, because I'm like, they thought they had to hire a bankable actress or like Scarlett Johansson to get the audience in, but I'm like, well, it's why don't you just make a good movie, and then and then word of mouth is like I always say, word of mouth is the best. I know obviously that's not gonna sell in like a big multi-million-dollar company meeting. It's like, let's just make a good movie, guys. And it's like, okay, obviously a business person's gonna be like, yeah, I don't give a shit about your art. I care about making my money back. And so I understand that the business side of it isn't as like simple as that. But I do feel that that's the truth. That's what they should be. Despite the business not being that simple, that is how it is at the end of the day. Because when you look at Ghost in the Shell, it's not going to make its money back, and it's a flop because it's a shitty movie, and it doesn't matter who starred in it. It didn't matter if an Asian person was in it. It's a dumb movie, so that's. I'm sorry, I'm still a little salty about Ghost in the Shell, but yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, China is like the biggest. I think it's the second biggest film market in the world. So yeah, that's true, Anthony Birch. It's like that's just the way it is. It's because like even I mean, Warcraft is a big story with China the market, and it's been like that for a while. But Warcraft was successful in China, and it didn't matter that Warcraft didn't do well in America because it was successful in China, and it made a profit in China. And that's like, I think that's really the first time that's really happened, where it's like it kind of flopped here and it actually did well. Actually, no, Pacific Rim was similar. I remember that happened with Pacific Rim too. I don't know if you guys remember that, but by the way, I love Pacific Rim. I didn't care for Warcraft. I only made it like an hour in, and I was like, it's not bad. It's just I didn't really care for it. But I loved Pacific Rim, and it killed me that it didn't do well in America. And I thought like, no, like they're not gonna make a sequel, no. But then luckily, now they are making a sequel. And not only are they making a sequel, it's got a black lead actor in John Boyega. So very happy with that. Cause I love John Boyega from Star Wars, and I think he's awesome. And yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, but Pacific Rim did really well in China and other countries, and it didn't do well here. Like that kind of tells you how powerful their market is in the grand scheme of things, and how times are changing. Where America doesn't really matter too much about whether something does so well in America, and that's all it has to do well in. Like now you got China and stuff like that, but yeah, to your point, it's like that is kind of crazy that that we're trying to like we're all a lot of people in America are kind of like we need the a lot of Asian Americans specifically are kind of like we want like to be represented in American cinema, and like in a lot of the Asian countries are like we want to see white people. Like that's the irony of that is crazy. I still don't think that that's a reason to not hire Asian Americans or whatever, because personally I don't want to just see white people and just black people in cinema. I want to see I'd love to see like an Asian Iron Fist. That would have been dope. Like and again, not just because he's kung fu guy, just because like that's how the original should have been. Which, by the way, for anyone who says like it's just because people are just complaining because he was Asian. Because he knew kung fu. That's not the reason why people were asking for an Asian Iron Fist. And also, it's not just white people who are asking for Asian Iron Fist. It was a lot. It was like a whole Asian American community was asking for it. So I hate seeing people like complain about that without knowing the history behind the campaign to get an Asian Iron Fist. It's like learn about it first before you go online and be like, well, that's racist to say that Iron Fist needs to learn kung fu and he needs to be Asian and stuff. It's like, no, that's not why. It's because the original should have been Asian, and that's But yeah, I loved Pacific Rim. I was heartbroken when it didn't do well in America. Oh. Yeah, I think the co-American produced films have been failing. I think the biggest example is obviously that Matt Damon movie that recently came out. That I don't know who saw that, but I mean that looked like a video game. It looked really silly. And I remember me and my brothers were watching a movie. We were looking for a movie to watch, and we popped that on because we thought it'd be funny. But then we just turned it off because I don't know, didn't look that interesting. It's a shame because the guy who made that made Hero, which is an amazing film. If you haven't seen Hero, that film is fantastic. Back to influences, Hero with Jet Li, and by that director, that's a big influence of mine. It's like the way they did action in that movie was like poetic, and it wasn't just like fighting. It was like every image and the colors actually meant something, which I always try to think about when I'm doing stuff. But yeah, I love Pacific Rim. I'm so glad this has a sequel. But hang on. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, you guys. I have a theory that it's because now instead of only catering one focus group, now the producer trying to curtail running towards two markets. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a shame, but it's no reason to even cater to any markets. Like, I mean, I guess maybe you have to in some cases, and I guess it's good that the Great Wall. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called, the Great Wall. I guess it's good that kind of co-production thing exists, because it's only gonna result in positive things that for the future, even though that failed. But I think it's a stepping stone of what's to come to more and I heard the Russo brothers, for those of you who follow Marvel, the Russo brothers directed the Captain America movies. They're doing like a co-Chinese production too. Yeah, I guess it's like you really don't really have to cater to Chinese audiences. And the funny thing is the fact that despite the fact that these most Chinese people or Asian people in these countries want to see a white hero or whatever, which from American movies, or they want to see, whether that's true or not. It's like, it's funny that like we're Americans are catering to Chinese audiences by putting Chinese people in their movies, like when you, and this isn't to say that they're not just casting Chinese actors because they wanted to, but a lot of times it's to cater to the Chinese market. They'll hire like a popular Chinese actress or something. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Avengers 2, like the actress from that, and I heard like Iron Man 3 had like a whole different cut of the movie with for the Chinese audiences, where they had prominent they had like these Chinese characters had a bigger part in the movie. And obviously Transformers 4, which I don't even know what to say about that movie, but yeah, that had the most blatant pandering to Chinese audiences I've ever seen, until like Independence Day 2. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that had another ridiculous pandering subplot about how the U.S. and China are cooperating in this alien attack or whatever the fuck. That movie sucks. But yeah, it's ironic that it's like they want to see mostly white heroes, but let's put in some Chinese actors to cater to them. It's like, well, like, make up your mind. Like, what do you want? But I do hope in the future that we can see more Asian Americans in American mainstream, because it's just a shame. It's like embarrassing that like our movie stars are mostly pretty much all white, except for a few black movie stars too. Very few Hispanics too. But also, I'm not totally in the belief that that's just because of racism in Hollywood. It's also because there are just more white people in Hollywood in America. So it's not just like casting people are like, no, we need a white guy here. It's like, I think a lot of it is just in the fact that when you think about it, like, Hollywood has been predominantly white for forever. So it's not like, I don't think there's like a campaign or any type of detriment against black people or any race. I think it's just like, it's like they're the dominant race in Hollywood and Los Angeles. It's like, it would make sense that they have the most people there. But yeah, like when I read like diversity, I read some like diversity reports about how China, it's like, like, look at the stats on how many more white people there are in Hollywood, or how many more men there are. It's like, yeah, it's because like we've had like 50 years of like of Hollywood being mostly white people. It's like, it's not, that's just the way it's been for years. It's like it's not even necessarily a like a racial prejudice thing. A lot of it's just because there's more of them. But especially like in the last 30 or last couple of years. Actually, no, it's been going on. I do think that there is a subconscious thing for a certain type of race to want to cast someone who looks like you in your movie. I do think that definitely exists. It's not even like a conscious thing. I think for the most part, I think everyone does it. Like for me, I do think about casting black people in certain roles. I do think about it. I don't like go like, I'm only gonna cast a black person. But I think it is a thing. I think it is a certain thing that people subconsciously think about. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna comfortable around people who look like me and all that stuff. But yeah. 1990. So there are too many Japanese actors in Japanese cinema. What does that mean? Who said that? But I mean, I guess that'd be true. Oh, you mean like compared to American cinema, where it's like you know, they're mostly white people in America. Yeah, I don't. But still, like the difference would be in America is that you know, Japan is not as diverse as America is. We're the melting pot. You know what I mean? So it's like obviously there's an expectation that movies and cinema would look, you know, more like the way America looks, which is diverse and with you know, different kinds of people. I don't know how we got into a diversity discussion, but yeah, it's a problem. But you know, it's just the way it's the way it is. I don't think it's ever gonna be like that equal or that change that much. You know, it's like popularity of anybody or a movie star of any kind doesn't really. It's, you know, it varies. It's not like, well, you know, let's just make a like a movie star of any kind is difficult to pull off, whether whatever race they are. It's not like, oh, it was easy for this white person to be a movie star and to be famous because they're white. Like that's not true. Like it's hard for anybody, but it's just that, you know, there are just more white people in Hollywood. It's just, you know, it's not like I don't know. I don't know. At least that's just my way of thinking about it. Okay, yes, let's get off this topic. So, in what movies are you looking forward to? I do. It's funny because today I did want to see Guardians, but Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I'm broke, so I can't see that probably until next week, when I get paid. But let's see. I kind of want to see Alien. Let me know what you guys are anticipating too in the chat. If you guys are anticipating the same ones I am, but I kind of want to see Alien Covenant because I did like Prometheus. It's not perfect. It's not that great either, but I did enjoy it. I thought it had some cool art to it and some cool moments. But I understand people who don't like it, and there are definitely parts that I don't like. But I did like Prometheus, so I am kind of curious of what happened with them, what happened with the main characters from that at the end. That was the most intriguing part of the movie. Is like where what happens to them at the end, like where do they go? So I'm curious about that, but I'm also kind of nervous that movie's gonna suck. For some reason, I have a feeling it might suck, but I hope it doesn't because I am kind of curious about that. Let's see, what else is coming out. I mean, obviously, the one at the top of my... I'm thinking of summer movies, but the one at the top of my list is obviously Star Wars, but that's like in December, you know. But, yeah, let's see, Covenant. I don't know. Are you guys looking forward to Wonder Woman? I'm not... I don't like any of the DC movies that are coming out. I didn't like Man of Steel much at all. I didn't like Batman v Superman, and I liked Suicide Squad when I was in the theater. Then when I left, I was like, wait, that kind of sucked. I enjoyed watching it for the first time at the time, but then I thought about it, and then I watched some of it back. I'm like, wow, this is like literally, this is kind of awful, But yeah, so DC, like a lot of people are like this is the first time where a big mainstream comic book movie is coming out with Justice League and Wonder Woman, where I'm literally like, if I don't see it, who cares? It's like I'm literally not really anticipating it at all, and that's kind of a bummer because yeah, it's I don't know, under a different director, I would be so excited for Justice League, but I don't really care that much. Like the trailers are like, hey, we're having a fun time this time, right, guys? I'm like, this is like so obvious that this is just a reaction to people who said Batman v Superman is too dark, which isn't even a problem of the movie. The problem is everything else besides the tone. But yeah, it's a shame. Oh, and Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, even though the trailer gave way too much away. Looking forward to Edgar Wright's new movie, Baby Driver. What else is coming out in like June? Oh, I think Baby Driver is coming out in June. Oh, Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan's movie. I think that's my number one anticipated of the summer, and number two of the year, and then number one of the year is of course Episode 8. The Void I heard wasn't that good actually, but it did look. I heard it was looked interesting, but from the critics, I think I heard that wasn't that good. Um, Wait, World Wonder. Wait, Ayame Otaku. I'm not sure what you mean. Does that say World War One Captain America with new director? Not sure what that means. At first I thought that meant Wonder Woman with a new director, but I'm not sure. But speaking of that, last year I really liked Captain America: Civil War, and I'm not like a big Marvel guy. Ever since Avengers 2, I've been kind of like with Marvel. Like I was so looking forward to Avengers 2, and ever since then I've been kind of like, like Avengers 2 kind of let me down. So ever since then I've been like, but then Civil War, I was like, this is what I wanted with Avengers 2. Like, why didn't you just skip whatever you did with Avengers 2 and just put out Civil War? That was a better Avengers 2 movie than actual Avengers 2. But to Alkalite, Valerian, yeah, I'm gonna be, that does not look good to me at all. I'm sorry, I don't mean to crap on it. I would love a movie like that, like